I want to give y'all as much game as possible. When you see me, pull my coattail, ask me a question. I have all the time in the world to help impart knowledge on people that can better their lives, that can better their situations, that can further them along the path that they're going for. So you see the OG, holla at me, man. You know what I'm saying? Where you initial and where you sign is not where the vital information and the contractual negotiation takes place. It takes place in all the pages in between. And we didn't know that. Our attorney didn't really, help us didn't really lend her services to looking into that kind of stuff. And we ended up signing a record deal that literally took, I would say, 15 years of amendments to it. I had clauses in my contract that I don't even know if they ever existed in anyone else's contract. I wouldn't have put my name on an awkward burger, on an average burger, on a mediocre burger. My reputation is too solid. I don't need $8 from you that bad. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just stay in my space, but I actually believed in this burger. I actually believed in the team that I was assembling. We've had to make some changes. I think we got the perfect team now. I think we make the perfect burger.
Let's flat out. Big teams, big boys, right?
My highs and lows inherit growth, Mr. Deeds. Went from juggling 3 jobs to CEO like I'm Steve. Never been a rotten apple, call me John Appleseed. That's how I bleed. God can see, no other man can judge me. Call him Mike, Mr. International, getting cream. Single mother told me worth, and now I'm worth everything. Went from Wall Street to Abu Dhabi, straight rolling in a Maserati with women that feel exotic. My life too pristine.
Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that.
It was film day.
Yeah.
We gotta make a statement.
Exactly. We gotta make a statement.
What's going on, man?
Flat out.
Welcome back to the Last Flat Out podcast. I'm your host, Mike, alongside Jay. If you don't know where to find us by now, it's Last Flat Out podcast across all your social media platforms and anywhere you stream podcasts. We're here now in Houston, Texas. This is going to be a legendary episode, as well as a lot of gems are going to be dropped as we're talking about financial literacy. I'm going to kick it over to Jay. Introduce.
That's right. Today's episode is a special one. It's about purpose, community, and financial empowerment. Before we get started, I want to give a major shout out to my brother Marcus Cormier for making this happen and for introducing me and Mike to Foundation 99, an organization that's focused on ownership, education, and empowerment. So really appreciate that, brother. But today would be we'd be remiss not to give flowers to this next guest on our episode. He's a Grammy-nominated artist, a cultural icon, and a man who's used every stage he stood on to give back. But today isn't about his music. It's about money, legacy, and freedom. Just as he's built legacy in hip-hop, he's now building one in financial literacy. Through his work with Foundation 99, showing Black and brown communities that ownership, education, and empowerment are just as important and vital as artistry. So it's an honor to welcome to the Last File podcast, Bun B.
Thank y'all so much
Appreciate
for having me, man.
Thank you so much for
real.
the time.
It's a pleasure, man.
It's a
Thank
pleasure. Honestly, it took a few months to put this together, but thanks to Marcus, Foundation 99, and for your time to be here today.
I'm happy to be here with my boy.
Yeah. So we start off every episode with an icebreaker. So
Okay.
I'm going to throw a word at you, and you give me whatever comes to your head.
Okay.
Okay. So the word is trill.
Wow, above and beyond. That's typically how I phrase trill. Like I grew up in an era where keeping it real was a popular refrain.
Yeah.
And I think most people get the idea of what keeping it real is. But when we talk about being trill is it's not just about being, in somebody's corner when it's good, but it's in being somebody's corner when it's not good. It's about, everybody has an idea of what a friend should be, but it's about being more than just a friend. Sometimes it's about being a brother. It's about being a cousin. It's about maybe, depending on the relationship, being a father figure or an uncle to somebody. But it's really just about being what people need you to be in the moment to get through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess to set the stage of this show today, Marcus, can you let us know what is the core values of the mission of Foundation 99 and why is it needed in today?
Absolutely. So, the core of Foundation 99 is really just to provide financial empowerment to communities that are underserved, that don't have access to financial advisors, financial planners, or they don't even know how to access financial planners or if they should. A lot of people associate financial planning, financial advising with having a ton of wealth, right? And we want to remove the stigma that you don't need to have millions of dollars to sit down and practice good financial behaviors. Because if you're making 50,000 and you're making bad decisions, you're going to make those same bad decisions when you make 450,000. And so it's all about making sure that people are empowered with the information so they can make better financial decisions.
Okay. And Bun, kicking it over to you, what was it? What was the what resonated to you about Foundation 99 for you to get involved with the organization and sort of its core values?
Well, I'll be very honest. It was Marcus. Marcus and I were board members on another charitable arm of an organization before. And when Marcus moved over to the Foundation 99 team, they reached out to me and asked me would I still want to be involved with him about it. And of course, I love the way Marcus thinks. I love the intentionality behind his actions. And I know that he cares about the community in the same way that I do. So, and then the way it was approached was like, I think this is the group that we should really be with because they're targeting directly the people that we know are affected. So it was a no-brainer to join him at the organization. And I'll be honest, he was right. You know, no offense to our former partners. They did a great job, but they were moving in a different direction. But this foundation has stood firm in its mission, and I'm just happy to still be a part of it because it's consistently growing, it's consistently empowering people, and it's consistently the need for it. It's consistently being seen and embraced by so many people.
Absolutely. And something that you said that resonated with me about making bad mistakes, and something that you said in the past, you don't need sort of like a large amount of wealth, right, to have education, right? Like so if you're making good decisions with $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, you'll make them when you have 10, 20, those good habits to stick with you. So,
yeah. And I guess just to get a little bit more information, I guess what do you think is the principal foundation of starting your financial journey? You know, someone just coming in straight out of school, out of high school or college. What is the first principle that they need or that you see?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is just understanding how to create a plan, right? You don't go out and start you dream about a business, but before you start a business, you got to have a business plan. You have to understand what you're working towards so you can kind of build it with your financial life. It's the same thing. Whether you're working to retire at 50 or 65 or whatever that lifestyle looks to you. But I think the lack of planning is what kind of puts a lot of people in, kind of bad spaces. And really the lack of planning falls into the lack of information. Sometimes when you don't know, you don't do. And so a lot of people just kind of go through the motions of life. And then when they're getting ready to kind of get to that point where they want to shut it down, well, now we're 50, 55 and we're trying to play catch up from the last 20, 30 years. And so I think now is the perfect opportunity, especially to capture young people. When I was 20, 30 years ago, I didn't know what a mutual fund was. I didn't know what a stock was, but kids today know how to open up brokerage accounts and invest in crypto, right? So so nowadays they're interested. So it's now just kind of capturing that interest and then helping them navigate it so they can be more efficient while they're doing whatever they're doing. But I just think planning is the big thing. If you don't plan, you're just going to go, nowhere fast.
Yeah. And speaking about money, Bun, when did money become sort of like a real tangible thing to you? Was it like a childhood moment? Was it like your first check when you signed as an artist? What was it a mistake? When did like money really start having a effect on you? Like, oh, this is a real thing.
I can trace it back to high school when Pimp and I first started recording. There was equipment that we wanted to buy, and so we would sell candy. So Pimp's parents owned many of the vending machines in town, and they were the first people. That's how I knew what Sam's was. I had never heard of Sam's Club before, but I went with Pimp and his mom one day when they went there and bought these, big box selection of all these snacks and all that kind of stuff. So when we were like, yo, we need to buy this keyboard, it's going to take about $1,200 to buy this keyboard. And my mom ain't going to give it to me. But if we buy some snacks, we can sell them at school. So on the weekend, we would ride over with the club card and we would buy a bunch of Snickers and M&Ms and all that stuff. And then I would take them to school the next day. He would take them to school. And I would wait till like 6th period after lunch when people would get hungry. And then start being like, yo, I got Snickers, I got candy. You know what I'm saying? And again, it was a lot more cheaper. So the flip was a lot more profitable at the time. But I learned that. And then at the same time, my mom was a single parent and she was doing invalid care. And then she also had a paper route.
Okay.
So I grew up in a house where if you didn't work, like not only did you not eat, you didn't have power, you didn't have
Right.
a home. So just the idea of getting up and understand what the value of hard work and how hard it is sometimes just to make a dollar at a very young age. Like I was like, okay, I got to be smart about this. But then I got into the hip hop space where money was readily available and nobody was using discretion.
Right. No.
So I just kind of went with the crowd, so to speak.
Right.
And I guess, starting off in the hip hop industry, that's where I guess you generated most of your wealth to kick off
Absolutely.
to other spaces and other industries. So did you know early on as far as, how to read the contracts or how to save and things like that?
Absolutely not.
You didn't want to be there next to you.
Absolutely not. We had found an attorney who we thought would be advantageous to us because she was a former employee of the record company we were signing to. But she was actually helping the record company manipulate us in the entire negotiation. We were very green. The guy that we had signed to had no idea about how to run a record company. We just knew we had a hot record and people wanted to put us out. But I can remember distinctly, and I talk about this all the time, that when we went into the room and we were presented with the contract had maybe 7 tabs. Right. And those were the 7 pages I saw.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they open this, you're going to get 3 music videos, just initial here. This is going to be your advance, initial here, publishing, all these different things. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that I realized that where you initial and where you sign is not where the vital information in the contractual negotiation takes place. It takes place in all the pages in between.
Right.
And we didn't know that. Our attorney didn't really help us didn't really lend her services to looking into that kind of stuff. Right. And we ended up signing a record deal that literally took, I would say, 15 years of amendments to it. I had clauses in my contract that I don't even know if they ever existed in anyone else's contract. Right. We had a clause that if one of us went to jail or died, which actually happened, one of us did go to jail, that we could bring in another member to replace them.
The record label could
the record label and I could find someone else to replace that person at a reduced rate.
Oh, wow.
So there were a lot of things that we had to navigate that we really didn't have any understanding about, because did we understand money? Yes. Did we understand how to manage money? Yes. Did we understand entertainment accounting? Absolutely not. Right. Did we understand recoupment? Absolutely not. Did we understand the idea of not owning our publishing outright? Absolutely not. All we knew were those 7 tabs.
Right.
And the 7 tabs were basically the 7 things that we asked for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So those 7 things, so that moment where we can say, I think you were taken advantage of at that point, how did that shape you moving forward from that point?
I'll tell you a funny story. When we signed the contract, we didn't, we thought we signed the contract, we did everything, they slid us the check. And then we asked to, can we excuse ourselves for a minute? So we go out in the hallway and we start celebrating. Like, we came all the way from Port Arthur, Texas, the town of 45,000 people, very small town, all the way in New York City and Manhattan, signing a record deal on the 42nd floor of a high-rise building, right? Mm-hmm. So we think we're killing it. We come out and we see KRS-One walking down the hallway. I'm like, yo, KRS, what's up? With UGK? Oh, how y'all doing? Yeah, man, we just, we down here signed our record deal. He was like, did you sign yet?
Oh,
damn. I was like, yeah, we just signed. He's like, damn. Good luck, young man.
Oh, man.
No.
So
that is, if anybody ever tells you, I'm a lawyer, so whenever somebody comes to me and says, oh man, this situation, first question I ask them, did you sign? Did you sign anything? If you did, I can't help you.
Right. That was literally the tone he took.
I can't help you.
Right. He could have, and it was just, and so it became years of trying to get amendments and trying to create some kind of leverage against a multi-billion. Keep in mind, I was signed to my record company at the same time that New Kids on the Block was signed, NSYNC was signed, R. Kelly was signed, Britney Spears was signed. So I wasn't even a low rung on the ladder. I was the dirt that kept the ladder up, right? Kind of a thing. So it took years of trying to renegotiate, trying to get amendments to the contract, and then we realized just negotiating wasn't going to help. We didn't have the leverage to get anything in our favor. So it was just years of of trying to navigate and the nuances of it. But the awareness in the moment, I think, was very key, because if we had not left that building aware that we were behind the 8 ball, I don't know when we would have woken up. I don't know when we would have been informed. I don't know when we would have known that on its head, the situation is precarious, right?
Mm-hmm. So from that, I guess, from that moment, you went from being happy to quickly like, damn. All right,
within a 5 minute, literally within a 5 minute period, like from the height of my life to the lowest I had ever been.
Wow.
And Marcus, just with, I'm sure Foundation 99 comes across people with all different types of financial backgrounds, literacy levels, and things of that nature. And Bun, this is a sort of like a two-part question, so whoever wants to take it first. Like from that moment when you were like at the lowest that you could have been, what was your plan with when you and Pim, like how are we gonna get out of this? And like what does Foundation 99 do to sort of help people give the tools to come out of bad financial situations?
Well, I think for us it was about like let's see where we are. Let's see where we'll be in a year from now, right? Like if let's start looking at these plans from a realistic aspect. If this album sells this, based on what we took, based on the percentages, what would we make? If this album sold that, and we realized there was no equation where we recouped, because in order for us to make more money, the record company will have to invest more money.
Right.
So if you have a hit record and a video blows up, then they're going to put more into you because you're going to be in demand more. So the more you're in demand, the more the record company has to spend. I don't think people realize when you see like an award show, your record company pays for that. Like the Grammys doesn't pay for your performance. Your record company pays for a performance. So American Music Awards, all that. So the more popular you are, the more you're in demand and you have to be at these places, your record company is dumping more and more of your money into accounts receivable kind of thing. Like you owe us money right now. So it's a double-edged sword. If you don't make any money, it's hard to recoup. If you make a lot of money, it becomes even more harder to recoup.
Yeah, I would say, I agree with that 100%. It doesn't matter what level you're at. We got to figure out where are you at today. Let's figure that out, because a lot of people sometimes come in and they say, well, I'm budgeting. I can't afford this. I can't afford to save. I can't do this. And so, I always say when I present is that there's two kind of people that can't save. There's people that truly live check to check and they can't save, and there's people that can't sacrifice. Right, you got to figure out which one you are, because when I sit down and we look at all of your financial information, the name of the game is the same whether you make 50,000 or 3. If you spend 60 and you make 50, or you spend 350 and you make 300, if the cash flow going out is more than that's coming in, you're going to be in a bad situation. So a lot of times it's really just about sitting down. Let's figure out where everything lies: debt, income, where your money is going, because we don't just live to pay bills, right? We go out to eat, we do other things. And so understanding where all of your dollars that are coming in, where is it going, and if there's an opportunity for us to repurpose some of those dollars, right? So you can save, you just don't want to sacrifice and stop doing A over here so we can get you to a better financial situation over here. And sometimes it's just really being able to show people that picture and say, okay, look, you're not in as bad of shape as you thought you were, but now you know exactly where you're at. And so now let's talk about what we're going to do going forward. But we got to find out where we're at before we can talk about where we're going to go.
But we need those Jordans, Marcus. We need those.
We need Sunday Fun Day.
Right.
Like the best Sunday Fun Day on the planet is in Houston.
I've
lived in many places across, and just to go off tangent a little bit, that would be hard for me to sacrifice. So we're gonna have to sacrifice lattes, something else, not Sunday Fun Day in Houston.
Thank God it's football season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be watching the games instead of going to brunch. But but summertime is hard. It's hard to not pull up.
Yeah.
All right. So, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, with the peer pressure as well, and I think this happens across all industries, no matter what level you're at. If you're young and you're looking at your peers and you're like, oh, okay, they're buying the new cars, they're, with the best clothes or the latest jewelry. Did that affect you as well?
Absolutely. And I fought against it for a while, right? I fought against the idea of buying the jewelry and fancy cars, honestly, because my partner was doing it. So I felt the group had that level of representation. I'll be very honest. Pimp, because he produced records, made a bit more than I did because I didn't produce records for other people. So his publishing was larger than mine. He would have more side hustle work than I did. And because of that, he would spend a little more money. So I didn't really get into it because I realized, he can do that. He made 3 beats for so-and-so, made X amount of money. So that he can blow that off. I don't make that. So I got to kind of stay where I'm at. And it wasn't until really till I got a solo career. When Pimp went to jail, I ended up becoming the face of the group. So in my mind, I felt, well, now I have to be the person that lives up to that part. So I need to go and get the big chain, and I need to make sure I get the nice car. And I bought it. I went through it, and then I was like, I'm not buying none of this jewelry again. And I'll be honest, like maybe 6 years ago or so, might be a little longer actually, might be closer to 10 now that I think about it, based on the house. We had a break-in, and I lost like all my jewelry, and I was like, good. Because I think I for one, I feel like I got my money's worth out of it.
Right.
But then two, I'm like, I'm not buying no more jewelry.
Right.
Like I'm not, and I have 2 necklaces now, and they're both gifts.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just went. So make the right friends, folks. Make the right friends.
We need to.
But-
Yo, Marcus, where's my chain?
but I utilize my jewelry. I'll be honest. Like I made sure I got what I felt was my money worth out of it. I put it in music videos. I wore it to concerts and dinner and all that type of stuff. And once we learned about the ability to write certain business expenses off, we got it. We couldn't get full recoupment on it, but we figured out a way to try to write a few little things off. But it was only after I had built up enough money to earn and buy things. So no matter where you are, if you're, I'll say this, if your tax bracket changes, there's things you need to learn.
Yeah.
Like, and that's if you're going up or if you're coming down. There's going to be levels of discernment that you're going to have to learn in order to handle these things, frankly, properly. Because if you can jump in this industry, you can jump from working class to wealthy very quickly.
Right.
Very quickly. And again, you need those tools that Foundation 99 offers. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be, and again, these things can grow exponentially.
Right.
Right? Like Shabuzi, I remember Shabuzi dropped and he was just an independent guy out doing his thing with like 50 people in the crowd. And now he's doing 50, 60, 70,000 seaters. You know what I'm saying? So you need empowerment and information, but also you need the right team around you.
Yes.
It's a different thing between an individual and an organization, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. So take us back. So when they slid you that check to you and Pimp that day, so obviously your wealth probably exponentially jumped that day, however you felt about it at that moment. But did anyone sit down with you and say, hey, Bun, Pimp, you guys should be doing this. You guys should be investing in that?
No one gave us any. I can speak for me. No one gave me any financial information. Pimp's mother was a bit more involved in his business than mine was, and his mother had a different level of business success than my family had. My family was working class. They owned their own business. So they understood things a little bit clearer, and I'm pretty sure they passed a lot of that knowledge down to him, but it didn't stop him from balling.
No.
Like it didn't stop him from balling out. You know what I'm saying? But no one was there to give me any information. I took it to a bank. I didn't deposit it. I cashed it.
You cashed it?
I cashed on my cut was $15,000. I cashed it. I went to a club called Jamaica here in Houston back in the day. Shout out to Paul. There's still another Jamaica. It's in a different location, but shout out to Jamaica Paul for that. And I went and I was like, I want to buy champagne. It was like, how much champagne? Like it wasn't even a thing.
Right.
It wasn't even a thing. I was like, I don't know, it's 4 of us. Give us 4 bottles. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, all right, cool. And I was just trying to buy everybody drinks. I just wanted to share and celebrate.
that love,
you know what I'm saying? Because when I signed, I was like, well, at least I got this check. You know what I'm saying? So let me go out and at least have a good time. Right. But the idea of being careful, I like many other entertainers, assume that was it. I signed a record deal. I got a check. I'm going to start making money. My first concert was for like $150. Like we were not making any real money at that time. Right. So getting a $15,000 check, that's all mine. I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no woman. It's just me. I'm like, I'm finna go have some fun. That money might have lasted 10 days, bro. 10 days. And I was right back. I worked at the record store that the guy that put us out owns. So I was right back at work within less than 2 weeks, broke, looking for that check again. Right. You know, and wondering why aren't we doing show? We signed now. Like, why aren't we on tour? Why aren't we on this? Right. We hadn't even turned in the album yet. So I got way ahead of myself. But again, I was very irresponsible when I was only responsible for myself. As I started to get other responsibilities, had a woman, had a family, and all these other things, I had to take that kind of stuff into consideration. And I realized, like, you ain't gonna be balling out like that. Because every time I wanted Jordans, the kids wanted Jordans too. So that comes to what Marcus was talking about sacrifice. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The only way to make these things work, to make sure my family was taken care of and happy, I had to sacrifice my personal pleasures.
Yeah. What would you say was your first asset that you purchased?
Probably a home.
Home?
I would say a home. And that took a while to become an asset because obviously it was a mortgage.
Yeah.
So I had to invest in it. But we were adamant that we wanted to pay that house off before we got to another house.
That's smart advice.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so we made sure to do that so that now the house is ours. We own the house.
Right.
That's an asset for us.
Yeah.
It's not a liability. Money, we're only spending money on it for upkeep and whatnot right now. And then we're like, well, now if we decide to move, we got to make sure we make money off of his house. We didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the value went down. We bought our first home and then Enron crashed.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn, but
And so the local economy really got affected, and for sure, like the home price shot up with Enron. Like so many people were working, and so many people were buying homes, and then the market just crashed. So we got the house for what we thought was a little bit more than we should have paid for, but we were able to get into it quick.
Right.
So and then it took a little longer to get out of it.
Right.
That price keeps dropping and dropping. I was like, okay, we don't need this big a house next time.
No.
That was the whole thing. We had perpetually bought houses bigger than the need, than our home need. Right. So like now it's just my wife and I because the kids are gone or whatever. So we're in a one story. We used to live in 2 stories for no reason. 5-bedroom house with 3 bedrooms occupied. But like your mama get a room and she come, and my mama get a room and she, you know what I'm saying, that kind of a thing. We just wanted to share the fruits of our labor with everybody, but we realized we didn't have as much fruit as we thought we did.
Exactly. So another 2-part question, one for Marcus, one for you, Bun. So what would you say along the way was the biggest financial lesson that you learned in the music industry, not taking account all the other successful ventures you've had after? And going back to his point, Marcus, like what are some of the things that Foundation 99 takes to someone, like in terms of framing, what is it that they can actually afford, right? What's actually within their financially healthy for them to do, because that's a common thing that people do nowadays. They get a check, they buy more house than they need, they buy a more expensive car than what they need, more expensive clothes. So like, what are some of the tools that Foundation 99 does to empower the community for them to be more financially literate?
Yeah, I would say, especially when it comes to home purchase, I mean, we're still, Black and brown communities, we're still well behind the curve on owning real estate, right? So that's a big thing for us, and making sure that, the folks that we work with are educated about that process. And so it's really, once again, it all, for me, I'm a planner by heart. So at the end of the day, it's let's sit down, let's look at, the income sources. I know that a lot of people talk about the home buying process and let's see what you can afford first and then go look at it, and I'm kind of on both sides of the fence. I think that's a smart play, but there's nothing wrong with dreaming, right? Go out, dream, see what you like, see what you want to get, and then let's sit down, and obviously we could talk about what you can comfortably afford, but then educating them on the whole entire home buying process, right? Because you can go online and say a home costs $400,000, the interest rate is this, and then it plugs out a number and says your monthly payment is this. But then they forget about taxes, they forget about insurance, they forget about HOA fees, and all those things can easily take you out of the affordability of the home that you're trying to purchase. So really kind of helping people map out, what it is that they're trying to do, and then just making sure they have the financial means. There's a lot of financial planning standards that you can go over and say you should only spend this percentage of your gross income and this percentage of your net. But at the end of the day, it's during your working life, you got competing goals, right? And we're always working on more than one thing. Nobody's just working on retirement or putting kids through college. We got 10 things we're working on. We just got to prioritize what's important and figure out, okay, well, maybe I can't buy this $400,000 home and also have XYZ. If I go down $50,000 or $100,000, then I can also buy my wife a car, and I can put more money in my retirement account, and then I can get that house that I really want later. And so it's just kind of about making sure we map it out. Numbers don't lie, set expectations, but just make sure people are informed, so that way they're not going to let a real estate agent, that doesn't know their financial situation. They're trying to sell a house, right? We're trying to prepare people for the entire process of the house. And so that's really just the importance. So just making sure everybody's informed, and then we send you on your way, obviously, where we work with you through the process also, but it's really just making sure you have the information.
I should have had Marcus when I was a younger guy. Should have. So let's walk people. I'm gonna set up a scenario, and we're gonna walk people through entertainment or just pretty much accounting, right? So let's say I'm a brand new artist. I'm a popular artist. Record company wants to sign me. So a record company is going to advance me. Let's say we'll keep it small and easy so people can keep it. Let's say they're going to advance $500,000. Now, $150,000 of that is going to come to me personally.
Okay.
The rest of it is going to be spent on marketing, promotions, music videos, tour costs, and all of that stuff, right? So I've signed a record deal. It's for 10%, right? I've got a $500,000 advance. Let's say, to keep the numbers even, my record sells 500,000 copies. I go gold. The records sell to a wholesaler for $5 a copy, right? I'm just throwing easily accessible numbers out. So the record has now generated $2.5 million. So I'm like, great, I'm going to start getting money. It doesn't work like that because you signed at 10%. So you're only afforded 10% of the money that's been made. So now, instead of you've made more money, actually you owe us money because your 10% only adds up to $250,000.
That's what that 10% means.
Yes. Yes. So actually you still owe us $250,000.
Because they loaned you the $500,000.
Right, exactly.
And that's a big misconception, the advance money.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
right?
loan. It's loan sharking. It literally is. And so what the record company will tell you, so we can't pay you anything off what your first album generated, but we can give you an advance off of your second album. So, and it goes up. So we'll give you $750 for the second album. Okay. Now you're automatically in $1 million worth of debt.
So let's keep it within the music industry.
And when you
and that's how it works. So artists typically only make money off of touring. Used to. Primarily. Now the deals come as what's known as a 360, which means we get a piece of everything. So, but now the record companies, to be fair, they have more incentive to help you with merchandise. Right. They have more incentive to help you with touring because they benefit off of it. Okay. But you're still underwater. Yeah. The entire time. You're still underwater. They realize that artists could actually profit from the touring and from the merchandise sales on the road. So they had to build a model and convince artists that they needed more help from the label in order to generate this income. Right.
And just to dumb it down a little bit for our non-music literate people. So what advice would you give a hot new artist? Like, look, I'm broke. Like, Bun, I have no money. Like, what am I supposed to do? I need an advance. Like, what's the best way? Because basically what you're making it sound like is they're loan sharking you so they can own you. Yes. So that you just keep working forever for them. And you're making the record label money and you're just continuously in debt. So how do you prevent that from happening? If you're actually an artist with talent and you actually have...
Well, first you have to do the knowledge, right? You have to learn the information and understand how these deals work. So what you want to do is try to argue for a bigger piece of the pie up front, or try to find a path, honestly, to navigate as much as you can. See, here's the thing. In my day, let's say 30 some odd years ago, I started in 1992. The only way I could sell my music, only way I could make money off my music is if people went to a record store and bought the whole album, or if people, called for me to play on the radio and the radio played me a lot. And there's a very small number that comes from being played on the radio, but if you're played enough, it adds up. But that number was actually bigger than what streaming is now. So the numbers are they're still manipulating the system against the artist, right? But the reality is that, and now in modern times, in 2025, you don't have to release an album. You can release one song. You can release it on multiple streaming platforms. So instead of having everybody go to one place to buy an entire album, people can go to multiple places and just buy one song. And that share of the money can come to the artist directly instead of having to go through a record company. So there are many ways for you to monetize yourself. And it doesn't cost to get on a streaming network. It doesn't cost to get on YouTube, right? This is the new way of marketing and branding these things. People don't really choose who they like off of the radio. They choose who they like off of social media. That's why most of the hit records are very abstract records that just come out of nowhere. I'm a fairy. It was a fairy, like it just works in the space that it's introduced. And then people try to find other ways of having that shared experience by finding something in their life that will equate to the use of said song, kind of thing. But the reality is the more money you take, the deeper you are in debt. Yeah. And that's just the way it's a loan is set up. You know what I'm saying? And it's very hard for an artist to navigate. So you have to take as little money as you absolutely need and utilize as many resources as you can get proximity to in order to get the music straight to the people. But you can look at people like Slim Thug, who's tried to stay independent as long as possible. He signed one major deal, realized that was not for him, and now he owns everything he makes. That's why he can have all those cars, because he's self-monetized. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely argue, like a La Russell. I think La Russell is the brand new standard of how to do things. La Russell is very lo-fi. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He puts a lot of work in on a daily basis, and he brings everything straight to the people. He affords the people an opportunity to buy his music and be a part of his experiences without a third party involved. Yeah. So there's no Live Nations when it comes to his concerts. No. You know what I'm saying? There's no Ticketmaster when it comes to his concerts. He's bringing everything to the people. Now, there's obviously lesser income that comes with that, right, but there's a stronger bond with the people, because the people are now a part of your struggle. They're a part of your journey. They're invested in you. The same way that you buy a football jersey because you like the player and you want him to be a great player and you hope he does great and gets the huge deals and all of that type of stuff. It's the same thing with an artist. Artists are now in a position to bring their music, to bring their visuals, to bring their vision and their movement directly to the people, where it would take a little longer, but the money is more consistent. The bond is stronger with the customer, and you will eventually become who you are. And people will gravitate to you because they see you're more business minded about these things. That's where the endorsements comes in, the sponsorships. That stuff tends to underwrite a lot of things that artists are doing now. These Red Bull, Monster Energy sponsorships, that those things come in handy. And then the higher you rank, then it becomes Coca-Cola and and Polo and all of these type of things. But it's a process. You have to have a team that believes in you, that's willing to sacrifice with you as well. I think is the most important thing, because no one does it by themselves. You have to have a team that believes in the vision. Right,
that's true.
How have you been able to, I guess, adapt to just change in the industry, or even
my wife? Whatever it is you're finna ask me, my wife. My wife is a very, very level-headed woman. My wife understands what our family needs, not just what we want. Because every now and then there are things that we want, and we have enough money to buy those things, but is that really necessary right now? So if I don't have X amount of money coming in that can justify 10% of this fun thing that you want, we can't have fun right now.
That's a good rule. That's a really good rule.
You know what I'm saying? I'll give 10% to fun, right? I'll give 10% to fun, because I can still save 40 and use 50 for whatever we need in the house, right? But I think it's okay to enjoy something. Yeah. But you can't enjoy it all, right? Like we make pretty good money in my industry. We make pretty good money, but that money is today money. It's not promised tomorrow. Yeah. So if you are not on tour and you picking up, some of these guys, like I'll be honest, when hip hop first started, people were picking up money in like sandwich bags, right? With my generation, we were making money in like corner store bags, right? They're making trash bag money nowadays. These guys are picking up $200,000 on the back end, like just on the night of. So they can go and spend $50,000 on jewelry if they want to in their mind, because they've got 10 more shows or whatever lined up. But it becomes an issue when you feel everybody needs a chain. Like, if you do this, instead of buying and I get it, I understand your people came with you, give them that chain money and see if they buy a chain. Give them the money that you spent on their chain. Give them that cash.
That's actually good. We need to write that one down.
Give them that cash and see if they buy a chain. And if they don't buy a chain with your money, why would you buy them a chain with your money?
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
Were
you buying chains for people when you?
No. I wasn't buying chains for myself. That was the thing. I wasn't buying chains for myself. And I had a side group that we put together, the Middle Fingers, but we never generated enough money. To do all of that. And we were all family men. At that point, everybody had a woman, everybody had kids. So we were trying to get to real money. So wasting money on a chain wasn't gonna help nobody at that point. That would have been just cap.
Yeah. And just moving on to the other ventures. So 2 questions. What was you were signed to Rap a Lot Records.
No, I was signed to Jive. No, Jive. As a solo artist.
As a solo artist.
Yes, I was signed to Rap a Lot.
So You were around music mogul like Jay Prince.
Yes.
What are, he's obviously very well known in the music industry. Even people who don't listen to music know who he is. But what are some of the things that you learned from him?
Land.
From
Land.
Land?
Buy land because they're not making any more of it. Yeah. That was the way it was told to me. If you got spare money, buy land. You don't have to build a house on it. You don't have to put a business on it. Just buy land if you can buy land.
If you can buy land.
That he was adamant about that. And if you look at him, he's made significant success in the boxing world as well as in the music industry. But he'll tell you his business success is the fact that he's been able to buy up hundreds of acres of land around America. Right. In Texas. And I think Montana, he's got crazy land in Montana. And obviously Prince Island in Belize, Like I never thought I would know someone that had an island. And I didn't realize when I met him in the 90s, he had the island. Like he's had this for a while. He's got this huge ranch here. He's got at least over 100 plus acres in, it's either Montana or Wyoming, but it's somewhere very white and very country. And it's Prince Mountain. Like all these, it's Prince Ranch, Prince Island, and then there's Prince Mountain.
He's got his own zip code.
and he's the kind of guy that, and I know he spends money, but he doesn't spend carelessly.
Right.
He always has a new car, but he doesn't. I had to learn that everybody's not walking to a car lot with a bag of money and buying a car.
Right.
That's how I used to have to operate because my credit was trash. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to bring more money than really was needed to buy a car, and I'm getting it with a higher rate. You know what I'm saying? At a higher rate with a bigger note, but I got the car.
Yeah.
Right. I gave that up very early. I tried to buy some nice cars, and I was just like, I bought a Range Rover, and I'd never been to a dealership service center as much as with a Range Rover. and that's not even an extravagant expense. Right. It was for us in the moment. Mm-hmm. And then we realized we're not even really getting what we want out of this. I had a car right now. It was I hadn't bought myself a new, nice car in a long time. I had a big truck. I had a big lifted truck. I was fine. And I took my wife's car to the dealer, and I saw a car, and I was like, this is the only car I ever said I would buy myself as an extravagance. This is the only car I would ever buy. And I fell victim, and I bought it. And my God, this car goes in the shop so much. I've had about 6 flat tires. Every time my wife has driven my car, somebody's run into her.
Oh, wow. You can't get...
like every time my wife has chosen to, hey, I'm going to go over here, or we're going to go over there, and she takes my car, somebody runs into the back of it. I hate that I spent this kind of money on a car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One, because of the expense of the car, but two, the upkeep is ridiculous. The more expensive of a car you buy, the more expensive the upkeep is. My friend has a Bugatti. It's $25,000 if they pop the hood on that thing. Wow. If they... they're doing all changes and all of that on a brand new Bugatti. That's like 20-something K to pop the... If you pop the hood on your Bugatti, your value drops.
Yeah.
Like the guy has to fly in for your car.
Damn.
Wow. I guess that's what the 25 grand is for.
Exactly. And then the second part question is, was there ever a moment where you almost like lost it all financially, where you were just like back against the wall, or did you just make sort of like, rookie mistakes and you were able to just bounce back?
No, I'll be honest. When Pimp C went to jail, we were heavily booked at the time. Yeah. So we had to give a lot of those deposits back. Right. Because I wasn't operating as UGK, I couldn't demand the same price for performances. And some promoters were like, well, we booked this show. We thought we were going to get both of y'all, but I still want a show.
Right.
So, but instead of picking up this when you do the show, you're only going to get this.
Right.
Because I've really overpaid you now that Pimp's not here. So there we are back at sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And again, it comes to my wife. My wife is like, what are we going to have? And what do we need to live by? And I'm like, at this point, we're probably going to be moving off of X amount of dollars a month. Okay. See, that's the thing. My wife has no problem adjusting as long as she's aware we need to adjust. If I don't tell her we need to slow down, she's not going to slow down. Like if I bought a purse this month, the month before, and the month before, if I don't tell her that we maybe don't need to spend it on a purse right this month, we're going to spend it on a purse. But my wife is a woman that doesn't really care about that stuff. If we have it and I get it for her, it's fine. But if I tell her, hey, we got to shut this shit down, you know what I'm saying? So our family can still be comfortable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just comfortable thing, roof over your head,
Right.
live in an air-conditioned house, food to eat at night. And my wife's a great cook, so we don't have to go out to dinner and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that I married a very rational woman, you know, a very real woman who is like myself, had less, had more, felt fine either way.
Right.
You know, that's the one. That's the thing. You know, we found each other. Neither one of us had much,
Right.
and so everything I gained while we were together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And everything I lost
Right.
while we were together.
Right.
But we're still together.
Right.
Right.
You know, so we've been through the ups and downs. You just have to, honestly, just like we talked about picking the right team, you have to pick the right partner.
Yeah.
You really have to pick the right partner, and you have to be honest. I know a lot of guys who hide. Their wives don't know where all the money is. That's never made any sense to me. If something happens to you, how's she gonna know how to help fix these things?
Yeah.
You know, and they're hiding money. They don't have shared bank accounts and all of that stuff. That's a recipe for disaster.
Right.
You're not supposed to be with somebody that you don't trust.
Absolutely.
That I never understood that. Why would you hide something from someone that you've chosen to share your life with?
Yeah.
It just goes against the grain. That's how guys come home and their house is empty.
It's true. And so is it fair to say from that lesson, the lesson that you learned from that experience was sacrifice?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But I was very lucky that it was a shared sacrifice. So even when times were tough, I never had to go through those things alone.
Right.
I never had to suffer through those things alone, and we were able to find peace and have joy in spite of scenarios. I'll be honest, making a lot more money can be very awkward. My children didn't grow up in the same life that my grandchildren are growing up in. Right. That money was earned during their life, but my grandkids are born and I'm me. Like, you cannot tell them I'm not rich because whatever they've asked for, they've gotten. But, you know, they've never really asked for anything, you know, PS5s and Xboxes. That's not a kind of thing, you know. But now the oldest is graduating. She wants a car. She'd been talking Tesla. And then finally she says, I think I want a Kia. Thank you, God. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were going to say Bentayga. I thought you were going to say Bentayga. I was like, oh, man.
But now she wants to go to college out of state. So
okay. Fine. So it kind of balances.
I was like, how about that Tesla you said?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Nice. Quick one. What about stocks versus real estate? Do you lean more towards?
I prefer real estate. My wife actually started investing in stocks when Cash App started allowing you to invest in stocks.
Oh, okay.
And she had a very smart philosophy. I was like, what do you got? She's like, I got Zara, I got this, I got a couple of different things. I'm like, really? She's like, I ain't buying nothing I don't use.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if I spend money there, I see other people spending money there, I assume it's a viable business.
Right.
So I'm gonna go for it. You know, she bought Apple. There's a couple of things she bought that actually went well that she started during COVID, and it actually went really well for her. I tried investing in everything I invested in was like eventually had a class action lawsuit. At some point, a couple of telecom companies, you know, I didn't know, but she was very smart about it. She didn't. The one thing we've been smart about investment is that outside of real estate, which real estate is viable in our minds, it's a very smart investment for the most part. But everything else is like you can't invest with money that you can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's why I don't sports bet. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't do prop bets and all of that, because I don't know enough about it.
Right.
And that's why we didn't do a lot of stocks and bonds early on, because we didn't know enough about it. I only got into crypto because one of the gentlemen, shout out to Spotty. Spotty was one of the early cyberpunks. He was one of the guys that invested early on cyberpunks and on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's worth having.
Right. So he hit very, very. No, he knew
Ooh.
the market very well. He was at Procter and Gamble, I believe.
Okay.
Spotty was at Procter and Gamble for a while.
Okay.
Well, he was very savvy and he made a lot of money. And so he wanted to do a verse with me.
Okay.
And he says, I can give you cash. I can give you, I can give you ether. I can give you half and half. I said, let's do half and half. And so I used the ether to invest in other NFTs and cryptos and different things like that. And we made some great partnerships because my partner had a Bored Ape. And so we took the Bored Ape IP and used it for a hamburger company.
Okay.
Got it.
So we were the first company to utilize a Bored Ape NFT in a restaurant.
Oh, nice.
And so
What's
what
up?
started as a pop-up actually lasted for 2 years.
Was that the one in Cali?
Yes,
Okay.
in Long Beach.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
Long Beach.
Okay.
It was called Bored and Hungry.
Bored and hungry.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we actually, from a
Okay.
burger standpoint as a company, we're getting a lot more traction in the earliest days based on the NFT brand. That brand actually ended up opening doors in Korea and Philippines, and as because
Wow.
NFT and crypto is a lot stronger overseas in the Asian market.
Yeah.
It never really died down in that market
Right.
as opposed to here. And then the Trill Burger thing ended up taking off a little bit more.
Right.
And so we eventually transitioned from that full time into Trill Burgers. But we were very excited about the energy that being involved in the crypto and NFT space came. And everything I made was on, was on free money. So
Yeah.
So speaking about Trill Burgers, now where they're transitioning towards your business ventures,
yes.
obviously you need capital to start any type of business, right? But what are some of the steps that you took beforehand when you were like, all right, I'm ready to dive into this business and I'm ready to pump in the capital? Because sometimes people, like you say, they invest with money or they start businesses with money where they're like, I need this to work.
Yes.
Right? Which is an uncomfortable place to be. So what are some of the steps that you took personally in order for you to make sure that you had a proper business plan and the capitals that you needed in order for it to be as successful of a venture as it is today?
Trill Burger had a lot of energy from a lot of different places. First of all, my partners were very steeped. One of them comes from the branding and marketing side, so that's what their focus is on. The other had already owned and been successful in several restaurants. He was also co-owner in the restaurant where we did the first pop-ups at.
Got it.
So we had a lot of those things to our advantage. The other thing was the owners had day jobs.
Okay.
So we never, to this day, we've only taken minimal, like at one point we were like, we got to take a management fee because of what we're doing. So we were getting like $1,500, $2,500 a month, but that doesn't pay anybody's bills.
Right.
Like I still have my day job. My two owners have their day job. So we do not take the profit out of the, we've stopped taking those management fees, in fact. And we keep everything in the pot. Because anything you take out of a profitable business, in order to grow that business, you're going to have to reinvest anyway.
Back, right.
So it's best to just leave it
in there.
Leave it in the pot. And so because of that, all the profits that's generated, not only in the brick and mortars, but we do pop-ups, we do catering. We serve out of the U of H football stadium. We serve out of the NRG football stadium. So we have a lot of opportunities to bring in subsidiary income from other things. And then that just goes to the pot. So now we've opened 2 stores primarily with no outside investment. We haven't had to take in any investment from anybody. We're still completely self-owned. And to get from 2 to 4, we're now understanding lines of credit better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Utilizing, quite frankly, other people's money to make it work for us.
It's better than your own.
You know what I'm saying? But we've got a great track record. People see the work that we've done. It's a very successful business. So we're just trying to stay on that model. Now, at some point, we realize maybe if we want to go from 6 to 12 or 8 to 20, right? If we look to scale on that level, we're going to have to look at either bringing in some level of financial investment or some level of real estate partnership, because real estate primarily becomes the biggest expense. Is the land that we're growing on and building out these things. So we're very careful not to scale quickly.
Right.
We're going to 4 stores now, and then we just want to sit and chill for 6 months. Because of our rapid expansion, we've basically been hiring whoever we can hire, just trying to get warm bodies in the kitchen to cook food. At some point, we're going to have to build a different culture in this business, right? People that care about more than just a check.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about these things smart. We're thinking about them carefully, and we're being patient because, rent's due, but we've got something to pay for. Like I've got other money to pay for it. I can be patient. Now with rap shit, I might need to step it up and kick it up a notch, right? And speaking engagements, do a little bit more on that stuff. But I want to make sure that I keep myself as available as possible as this company would need me, and try to be smart with everything we do spend money on.
Right.
So that we're doing things the right way, in a calculated way that doesn't waste any necessary capital.
Right.
We want to be as profitable as possible while having a minimum cost as possible, that doesn't compromise the quality of service or food that we serve.
Right. You know, when you have a business like that and it's being successful, sky's the limit as far as you could franchise it out or even have an equity play where, you know, bringing it as a public company. Like, do those things ever cross your mind?
I mean, within 1 hour of us winning America's the best burger in America on Good Morning America, I had Tommy Mottola in the DMs of this company, like asking for investments, like every week, calling for investments. All of my friends that are liquid want one. My rich friends in Atlanta want one. My rich friends in New York want one. My rich friends in Miami want several. The guys in LA want them all, right? Like people are throwing money at us, but we know for a fact that we're not ready to hand this to anyone. Quite frankly, I wouldn't want to be partners with someone who isn't already engaged and knowledgeable in this food operation space, because I don't have time to teach you how to run a restaurant. I need you to at least know how to run a restaurant, at least know how, or at least have good staff. If I operate with an operator, if I partner with an operator, I should say, let's say I want to move into Atlanta, right? I would look to operate with someone who owns 6 Checkers, you know, 8 Chick-fil-A's, a couple of these other things, so that you can pull management, you can pull staff, you can bring trained people, experienced workers, you know, that will treat this company properly. You can put them in the brand easily, right? We come down, we're training people. Well, chef will probably have to live there. That's another thing, right? When we go into these other cities, somebody's got to live there. We're not this huge company that could just send somebody to go live in a hotel for a month. Somebody's got to move to Atlanta for about 6 months. Somebody's got to overlook the build out. You know, somebody's got to, you know, first of all, we got to get with the architect and draw this thing. Like you've got to draw out exactly how the space is going to be occupied. That's going to take a while. You got to get permitted. You got to get with construction crews, all of those things. Somebody's got to live in Atlanta. So we're in no rush to expand in that way. And honestly, franchising, I'm giving you money. Like if I franchise, that means I don't want the trouble. More than anything. It's going to take a lot more trouble. I got to build out my infrastructure further. I got to bring in more people. I don't want to have to do all of that. You guys are doing good over there. Why don't you just run that one for me? We don't feel like that. We don't feel like that in any form or fashion. This is my child. I love Trill Burgers to death. We've been able to build something that no one thought we could at a rate that no one expected us to, on a level that we didn't even see initially. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to hold on to this thing for dear life. I really, really am. Because it's like I got my wife pregnant and now I've got quadruplets. And she's telling me she's pregnant again. Right? So if I'm not ready to take care of these kids, I need to strap it up. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we want to do. We realize we got 4 kids. We can handle 4 kids right now. So we're going to have to shut it down. Right? I'm not going to get it snipped, right? Because I want to have more kids eventually, but I don't know if we can afford more kids right now, honey.
Got it.
You know, so, but I love you. I still want to be with you in that way. So somebody's going to have to do something. Somebody's going to have to do something. So we're not irresponsible. And that's what we don't want to be. We've got a lot of buzz on this brand. We've got a lot of motion. I invested 30 plus years of cultural equity into this company. So we moved further than most companies could, because most people couldn't invest into this company while we were outside of money, right? So because of that, we want to be smart about it. We don't want to overextend ourselves. And I would hate for this thing to fall apart because we didn't care enough. You know, because I honestly, I could have been selling $1 million franchises for the last couple of years. I mean, people consistently ask me for that. But if I wanted money, but my entire reputation is tied up in this company at this point, right? Like, so I got to ride this thing all the way out.
I mean, there's no Trill without Bun. There's no Trill.
No. So
you can't just give your equity away. That's what.
That's what gets them through the door. So I have to protect that by any means. And overextending too soon would immediately kill that, because my personal reputation is so connected to this. Like if my bathroom is dirty, people think I'm dirty. My kitchen's dirty, people think I'm dirty, right? I'm not dirty. If people are treated rude in my restaurant, they think I'm rude. I'm not rude. I'm nice. I'm kind. I smile. I'm personable. You know what I'm saying? So if you represent this company, you got to be clean. You got to be kind. You got to be nice. You know what I'm saying? You got to care. I'd rather have 10 people that care than 20 people that just want to get paid.
Yeah, it's true.
because they'll put in the extra effort to do what those other 10 people were doing because they care.
Right.
And out of any venture, you can tell the people who want to check versus the people who are actually equally as invested in you in the sweat equity.
And look, unfortunately, we've had to scale in a way that we've had to bring in some people that only wanted to check. So we have to work very hard about training the culture.
Right.
I can train you how to cook the food. That's easy. It's the training the culture of the restaurant that has to be stressed more than anything.
Right.
And we're now catching up because people have to work in so many different places and there's so much expectation. They realize it's a lot easier if you just smile.
Absolutely.
Like just smile while you're doing it, because the weather may be bad, the wait may be long, right? So at least the service has to be good. If you go to a restaurant, the food is A1, but the service is bad, you're never going back.
Correct.
But if you go to a restaurant, the service is A1 and the food is okay, you might be like, I think I ate the wrong thing. I'm gonna go back. I should have got the short rib, right? That kind of thing. So, but you'll give it another chance because you enjoyed the experience.
100%.
Yeah.
So even if it's not food, if somebody come in, let's go get a drink over there. I like the vibe.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Let's just go get it. We ain't got to eat. I wouldn't eat there, but it's a nice little vibe.
I guess well, we both landed and then docked today, right? What can, and we gonna go after this. All this talk about Trill Burger. What can you guarantee that we gonna get, at a Trill Burger that, is not guaranteed anywhere else?
It's like I said, the weather may be bad. You may have to stand in line in some uncomfortable weather. You know what I'm saying? It may take a little longer than you'd like in order for you to get your food. But you will not have a better hamburger in the city of Houston. And here it is. It's a blessing and a curse because you're going to have the finest hamburger experience you've ever had. And then you're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave. And you're going to want a hamburger again.
Yeah.
And you're going to realize because you're going to be like, I want a burger. I'm just get a burger. And then when you take a bite, you're going to realize it's not a Trill Burger. It's going to be very, very hard for you to enjoy your normal, regular, everyday burger experience after having a Trill Burger because for most companies, a burger's an afterthought. For most people, a burger's an afterthought. You usually only want a hamburger if, I got 30 minutes for lunch, I need to grab something quick. Yeah. Or you're leaving the club or somewhere, you need to put something in your stomach, right? So there's a very low level of expectation of what a burger should be. Yeah. We exceeded by so many margins, right? That you realize no one has ever cared about giving you a burger this much. Nobody's ever put as much thought into giving you a burger as we have. Nobody's more concerned about how you feel after eating this burger than I do, because they just sell burgers.
Yeah.
That's all they do. They just sell burgers and people go there and buy them. I believe that effort has to be put into my brand. I believe that people need to have a higher level of experience in my brand because as a recording artist, I offer it a higher level than the normal musical experience. True. And so if people get lesser for their money, lesser value for their money from me, they're going to feel shorthanded because they've gotten better value from their money before. So it's like, well, he's got to be cutting because I don't know. I wouldn't have put my name on an awkward burger, on an average burger, on a mediocre burger. My reputation is too solid. I don't need $8 from you that bad. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just stay in my space. But I actually believed in this burger. I actually believe in the team that I was assembling. We've had to make some changes. I think we got the perfect team now. I think we make the perfect burger. I think we can offer people a near perfect experience in the brick and mortars. And I just want to continue that. That's why when we get these 4 doors, we can scale more, but we want to stay calm, make sure that we manage those 4 in Houston before we go out. But I'll be honest, Dallas and San Antonio and Austin, they're getting tired of waiting for this burger.
They're like, I don't go to the H-Town anymore, man.
No, because Dallas has loved Bun B and UGK. There's been a back and forth between Dallas and Houston. If Houston sells 50,000, if Houston buys 50,000 albums, Dallas wants to buy 60.
Oh, okay.
So Dallas's whole thing is that they're looking at how long the lines are in Houston, and they're like, our line's gonna be twice as long. Oh, and we're gonna stand there and we're gonna wait. Okay. Because we want this burger, and that's what we want. We want the demand, right, to be so big that we can't turn away from it. That we have to find a way of bringing this product everywhere, and everything isn't gonna look the same way because some cities are not going to be able to handle the full scale. Some locations will eventually just be pull up, get the food, and go. I don't know if you noticed, a lot of the airport Starbucks are turning into to go.
Yes.
Yes.
You can't sit down anymore.
Yes. Well, that's because the business model was you can sit as long as you want.
Coffee shop.
Yeah, you can use the bathroom if you want to. So now they're eliminating the stools in the bathrooms. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they still keep the customer. Right. They still keep the money coming in.
Yeah, right.
But their overhead's going to get consistently shrink more and more. And that's what I want to do for smaller markets, because I feel like my brand is very strong in like the Macon, Georgias, and Lake Charles, Louisianas, and places like that. I have a lot of strength as a brand in there, as a personal brand in there. So if I go in those markets, I know I'm going to need a sustainable store. And the sustainable store will probably have to be a smaller location so that we can keep our costs down, so that we can always make the experience available and affordable for people. So we're taking all of this stuff into consideration, because eventually I want this to be a brand that's all across the country and eventually the world. So I have to take what it would look like in certain places, when, certain cities. I could go big. I can have a 2-story, like Chicago's got a big 2-story. And some of them are just going to need a window.
Right.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Just pull up, get the burger, and go.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing that. You're like the epitome of Black minority success with Trill Burger, with your successful rap career. I mean, you've watching and being so inundated in these communities for the last 4 decades, essentially, that you've been a part of sort of the rap community and now in your business venture. What are some of the things that you're seeing like the system fails, so that there's like, how is it failing us? Because it's not that many Black or brown homeowners. There's not that many all Black owned businesses, right? So what have you seen that has been some systematic failures, and some of the things that we can do to sort of change that?
Well, right now, I think everybody's suffering from hiring. Everybody's suffering from staffing. That's primarily the biggest issue that most businesses have. I think for me, we have pretty much what we have to navigate, what everyone else has to navigate, but there's just a higher level of expectation for us. And in the early days, it was very hard for us to keep up with that level of expectation without the cash infusion. Right. But as we spread the brand around and found more opportunities to raise money, that became less of a headache. Right now, we have a new administration in town. Right. The former mayor, who's passed away, rest in peace, Sylvester Turner, he was not just a mayor, he had been a councilman, he had been a congressman. So we had all been able to build up, all of the companies around town had built up a very strong relationship. Now that there's a new mayor in town and a new administration, many of us don't have that kind of proximity to City Hall. Right. So navigating things that used to be just a phone call have become very difficult, quite frankly, for many of us, which is why my third store isn't open now. And again, these things happen. I was lucky to have had the relationship I had with the prior City Hall, but that becomes a thing. And then obviously they're answering to different people for different things. So, and I am a company of color, right? Like there is Black ownership in this company. There's Latina ownership in this company. There's white ownership in this country, in this company, and there's Asian ownership in this company. So while those things culturally lend themselves to a lot of different things, that can also become a hindrance in certain spaces. You know what I'm saying? Now, because of who I've been to the community, I get to navigate around a lot of these things. But as we expand and go into different neighborhoods where I maybe don't have that connection with those communities, it becomes a bit more difficult. But the most difficult problem that we have would close other doors. I would be very honest. Yeah. It would close other restaurants, the things that we've had to navigate as owners and proprietors of this company. Leadership, trying to, we've tried very long and hard to not have to bring in outside leadership. We were operating in the hopes that we could elevate people to positions. Homegrown talent. Yes, absolutely, without having to bring outside people in. But now we're in a position where we need that outside factor to come in, so that people don't feel that anyone's playing a particular preference. Right. Because there's Black leadership, there's Latino leadership, but there's a lot more Latina staff than there is Black staff. So language communication becomes a problem. So navigating leadership culturally to make sure that Black voices are heard, Latina voices are heard, female voices are heard, is something that we never thought that was going to be a concern. But because of how we've had to hire and how quickly we've expanded, we realize that people do need to feel seen and heard. So just trying to be a part of keeping communication open as much as possible. And again, these are things that most people don't have to navigate because they can elevate with time. Right. Most small new companies don't have to scale as quickly as we have had to scale. They can choose to scale and take that upon themselves, but we've had to scale because of the opportunities before us. It takes about 80 people to work NRG, to work a football stadium.
Yeah.
Because we have 4 stands. We do suite service. We offer club service. And our biggest station has 16 POSs. So that's 8 lanes on one side and 8 lanes on the other side. It takes a significant amount of people. It takes 20 people just to ring y'all up. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot, bro. But I am so blessed because there are so many things that new and up-and-coming businesses have to deal with that, quite frankly, because of the team we've assembled, we've been able to navigate that. But because what we're doing is so singular, like it's never really been done on this scale before. Like having a celebrity brand that's just exploding. That could be all over the country if you wanted it to. And trying to manage it takes hell. It's hell to keep one door open.
I could imagine.
It's hell to keep one door open. But once you think you got it, you can go to 2. But then going from 2 to 4, that's a big step. That's a big step because I've got to have the leadership. Not about having the people to cook. It's about the leadership. It's about the management.
Because you have to delegate at that point.
Absolutely.
You have to make sure that those delegatees are delegating the culture too. And everything needs to be consistent.
They can all train food. Like we can train food. That's not a problem. But how are we serving this food?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How are we showing up to work?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Are we sagging?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you need more shirts? That type of thing. I want to cycle all that stuff because I don't want that to be a hindrance to what I really need you for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I tell people all the time, tell us what you need. It's hot outside. You need a neck fan. You need tell me what you need. I'll get it for you. Would you rather work in shorts? And we like to have people in pants, but if you're going to work outside and it's 95 degrees, maybe we should give people some grace. Yeah. Maybe it's not, and it could be black shorts. We like people in all black. We like uniformity.
Right. We
can get uniformity with shorts. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of these different things that we have to navigate, but to me, it's a blessing. I wake up every day encouraged about knowing things, about learning things, about teaching things, and about spreading the culture in Houston because this brand is fully embedded with the culture of Houston. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm a big part of that. So I don't want to mess it up because I got to hear from everybody else that brings culture in this city. But I'm blessed, man. I have to say I'm really blessed, even with the difficulties, even with the things that we have to navigate. And they can be tough sometimes. I'm blessed because I know it's harder for other people.
Something I live by is pressure is a privilege. So if you're facing pressure and this is a venture that you walked into yourself, that's something that you're blessed to have. Like,
I'm proud to work.
Right.
I will say that I am proud to work. Yeah. I really don't care about the job for the most part. I'm glad to be able to work, provide for my family. And then I've been blessed to be able to provide a service beyond just the work that I do, but the culture I represent and how I extend myself to the community. These are all blessings. People come in my restaurant, give me their hard-earned money and tell me thank you. That's a blessing that I don't think many people share. Right. So I got to live up to that. And I got to make sure that when they do that, because people work hard. Yeah, people work hard in this world. Some of us have, we have a kind of life where we can, excel above those kind of things. But I'm very aware how far removed I can be from these situations, but how easy it could be for me to be on the street tomorrow. Like all it takes is one really bad experience and a lack of concern for this whole thing to just domino effect and fall apart. I have to wake up every day and care about it. Every day and hope that everybody working with me cares about it.
Yeah. I want to go back, I guess, to education because I know you taught a class in Rice University. It was hip hop and religion. But have you ever thought about teaching a course on financial literacy in partnership with Foundation 99, like in the classroom? And how early do you think, is needed in the community?
We should have been teaching that class years ago. I'll be very honest. We should have been teaching that class a long time ago. I think I'd be open to it. First of all, let's say that I didn't go to college, but I had the opportunity to teach at college as part of like a cultural exchange, and I understand how important it is to give the new young leaders of tomorrow the proper guidance, the proper mentorship, the proper information, the proper support in order to send them out in the world the proper way. Financial empowerment is important to every single person because we all need money to survive and sustain in this world. I would be honored to co-teach a class like that with Marcus, but I'd be a TA. I'll be honest.
That's the guy right there.
I would be a TA. I'd be happy to pass out the papers, do some scoring on the testing and all of that, and even speak to certain things as a business owner. But yeah, no, it's needed. The problem is that who's going to sign up for the class?
I think everybody.
That's the thing.
I think everybody.
We would think that, right? But people get into college and things start pulling them a different way. Sometimes in a good way, because I taught a student. He was in college for his MBA, and now we're both restaurateurs. Like neither one of us were in the food space, but we were prepared properly for business.
Right.
You know, so I think people need to be properly prepared for financial, not just literacy, but empowerment.
Right.
Right. Not only to give them the information, but to give them the confidence to utilize it and to better themselves, and then to bring other people on board. That's why, you know, Foundation 99 loves working in these school boards, going in these school districts, working with these employees, right? Because if you can just get one or two started, right, and they can start showing things turning around. Girl, it's a cute little shoe. Yeah, because I quit buying coffee every day. You know what I'm saying? And I save $40 a week.
Yeah.
So I can buy me some new little shoes to walk around. Those little things. Yeah. Right? Reprioritizing things, sacrificing things like Marcus said, and leading by example.
Yes.
That's the key, is to lead by example.
Growing up, I didn't have any like sort of like, you know, my parents were first generation immigrants, so money was never spoken in my house about about how to invest. But when you see examples such as yourself and other moguls who are doing things that are equally successful, the information is out there, right? It's like that whole question that they were like, "Well, do you want a conversation with so and so, or do you want the 500,000?" Like, a conversation with somebody can get you to the 500,000.
Absolutely.
Use that information, use that gem, and then utilize it. Like, so in my experience, it's sort of the empowerment is such a huge part. It's not just the literacy; they go hand in hand, because once you have the literacy, people have to actually go and sacrifice and do the things that they need to do in order to buy the shoes and in order to maybe one day own a business. Right?
Most people that have progressed and they're, you know, fairly liquid are self-made. Yep. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some legacy that helps people. There's some heritage. There's some bloodlines that help certain people get far. But you can look at the immigrant experience, for example. They never got a hand up on these things, and they still found a way, not just to assimilate, not just to find employment, but to grow and thrive and create and all of these different things. These things are available for you if you're hungry enough, if you care enough, if you ask enough questions, and you're willing to put in the hard work and delay the gratification. Yeah. That's something that we really don't see in this modern time. It's that everyone looks for instant gratification. I tell people all the time, you got 1,500 hours in this world to be live, to be cool, to be fresh. If you could use them all up in your childhood and be the old man working at Walmart, or you can save it, work hard, and then enjoy it all and be cool, to be that cool uncle, be that cool pawpaw from 55 to 75. You know what I'm saying? Because you put the work in when you were young enough to do the hard work. You don't want to have to do that hard work in your 50s and your 60s. You know what I'm saying? Sacrifice now. Don't go to the club now. Like, don't buy those shoes now. Don't get that car now. Don't get a girl that you know you can't afford now, right?
That's a new problem. That's a new problem with IG and stuff like that,
Absolutely.
Right? Like, so.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, look, most men, I can't really speak to women, most men don't become who they're trying to be in this world until like the mid-40s.
It's true.
It takes a long time to grow to get there. The more you do trying to be cool when you need to be working, it for one, it takes longer to get there. Yeah. It takes longer to get there, and people are watching you. Yeah. That's the thing. People are watching. The people that hire you. I hire people, right? I'm an employer. I'm watching everybody. They don't know it. I'm trying to find socials. I'm trying to see everything because I really need to know who you are as a person. Right. Type of thing. And if the money I'm investing in you is going in a good place because you get to grow, you help my company grow and all of that type of stuff. No, man, we're not playing those kind of games nowadays.
You know, it's hard though. All the things you said I agree with, but also watching you when you were sort of like in your prime, like everyone's trying to be like that, right? When I'm growing up, I'm seeing all these reggaetoneros, all these rappers. Right. I want the big chain. I want the nice car because what does that come with? That comes with the girls. That comes with the access. That comes with this and that. But the real game is sort of if you're able to delay all that and work really hard and then get to a place where you can actually afford all that and not put yourself in some massive amount of credit cards.
Yes.
Then it doesn't matter whether you're 25, 35, or 45. the litness is going to be the same.
Yeah, no.
So like,
Now, if you got bread, if you're 30, you're 40, you're 50, life is life,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter when it pays off. When it pays off, it pays off, right? So you can be working. You start at 18, get to 28. You're not there yet. Don't worry, keep working. Get to 38, keep working. Don't worry, you're not there yet. Keep going. Get to 48, and everything just falls in your lap. It all comes together. You look different. Your hair, you got a different barber. You got a different skin routine, bro. You look better at 48 than you did at 18 sometimes.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're working hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working hard, man. You'd be very, very surprised. We can fix the teeth. We can fix the hairline. We can fix all of that stuff with money.
Surgery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can get you right. Because you gotta
Jeff Bezos looking better now than he did when he first started Amazon.
He look crazy. I look at the picture of him in his garage, the first Amazon office.
Yeah.
He looks old as shit. Like you can tell he's working hard. He ain't doing nothing he don't want to have to do now.
No.
Right.
You know what I'm
Not doing
saying?
anything he doesn't want to do.
And I want to be there too. I want all of us to get there.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So, I guess what other ventures do you have in store or that you're looking at that you haven't quite tackled yet?
The tenders. We have Trill tenders, and I believe that our tenders are just as good as our burgers are. And I think the distance between how good other people's tenders are and how good ours are is significant in the same way it is with the burger. We know we have to work differently with that. Trill Burgers is a family brand. It's a place where I want you, your woman, your kids, your parents, whoever you got that you love, bring them in, have a good time, have a good burger. The tenders we can have a little fun with.
Oh, I like that.
I feel like, because we've been looking at a restaurant concept. And what I mean by that is I don't want like this big extensive menu, but I would like a bar. I would like a bar for light drinks, something for some little frozen daiquiris and margaritas.
Hey, that's
Nothing
all
crazy.
that takes, man.
You know what I'm saying? And it definitely helps with the profit margin.
Yeah.
But Trill Tenders is designed to feed you and then bode you well on your day. You come in, eat your food, and leave. People would love to come in Trill Burgers and sit and watch a football game on Sundays or watch the Astros play or the Rockets, you know what I'm saying? But we can't afford to dedicate that kind of space to that.
Yeah.
I think Trill Tenders, we could do that with. We could play with the concept of Trill Tenders. We could do tenders. We could do chicken salads. We could do sandwiches. There's a little bit more room. Trill Burgers is just a burger. We got one burger. It's the best burger you'll ever have.
Right.
Come in and get it, enjoy your meal, and then, whenever you're done doing what you do, leave. But Trill, I would love to create a place where people can come and hang out, enjoy food, and enjoy an extended experience.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the tenders. That's for sure going to be the tenders. But it's going to take us a little while longer because we got 4 of these burger doors to do. We cannot stop momentum on that. So hopefully by next year, I would like to have a Trill Tender location in Houston somewhere where you can come in, get a drink, and get the best chicken in town.
Oh, yeah. Nice. And, now that you're building your resume sort of as a businessman and you have this sort of long laundry list of accomplishments that you've made as an artist.
Yes.
Right. And the cultural impact that you've had, not just in Texas, but also in hip hop, me growing up in New York and you're on Big Pimp and all that stuff. I can go down the line. What do you think? Do you think that what you're trying to build with financial literacy and showing people the way has not, I don't want to say important, but that, for lack of a better word, more important than what you've done for the culture in terms of hip hop and rap and things of that nature, what you're trying to do now as a businessman and to show people financial literacy, show the people the actual examples of financial literacy. Do you think that's a little bit more important than the lyrics that you're writing and sort of dropping?
I do, because I don't know how listening to me rap about cars and girls would help your life unless your life is cars and girls, right? I give you some things to live on, but you still have to have a life, right? And I think that the information that we give through financial empowerment and literacy helps people get to a quality of life that's sustainable and that they can be proud of. Yeah. I'm a business owner and I care about my employees and I care about my staff. And yeah, they can come and do the work and go home or whatever. And if they want to mess the money over, that's fine. But I love looking at employees that I hired a year ago. And now instead of getting dropped off at work, they drive themselves to work. Those are the kind of lessons that we want to teach through ownership and through our company. I know that many people have helped me get to where I'm at in life. And I want to try to make sure I can help as many people as possible. I tell people all the time, I've been given a lot of information, that's helped to make me successful. And I don't want to die with any of that information left in me. Right. I want to make sure that everything I've learned in this world, both good and bad, that have helped me navigate to a place that I'm proud to be in, I need to give that information to other people. It's inherent that I give that to people. It's imperative that I give that to people, I should say, because what's the use of gaining all of this knowledge to die with it? Yeah. What's the use of being given the information to overcome and exceed and succeed in this world if you don't pass it on to people that you care about?
True.
You know, so I want to make sure I leave this world better than I found it, because it was pretty crappy when I found it. To be fair, my parents did the best they could. They gave me a great quality of life by raising me to care about people and care about things. But no, I really want to leave this world better than I left it. I want my children and my grandchildren to be proud of who I am and the family that they're a part of. And again, I want to give y'all as much game. Look at the camera. I want to give y'all as much game as possible. When you see me, pull my coattail, ask me a question. I have all the time in the world to help impart knowledge on people that can better their lives, that can better their situations, that can further them along the path that they're going for. So you see the OG, holler at me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when I saw the people I thought had the game I needed, I went and hollered at them. I have no shame about telling people I need help. I've never had shame about telling people that I could use some information. Could you point me in that direction? Who do I need to talk to? I've always been a guy that wanted to know and was never scared to break the ice and walk up to somebody. You can tell me no. I'm good with a no. Yeah. But I will never stop working for a yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you see me again, if there's any part of my life that you think could factor in terms of where you're trying to go, if there's some information, and I know for most people it's music based. The music industry is a lot different than it was when I came in 33 years ago. Yeah. But there's still a couple of things I can navigate. I typically talk to artists more about real life than music, because I feel like if you get a record deal, your success, you know how to make music. You know how to make a song. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you manage this new lifestyle with your girlfriend, your baby mama, your parents, your wife? Like, there are a lot of things that people have to navigate in a real world scenario that music cannot help you. Entertainment will give you no entry point into. That's typically where I come in. Yeah. How do I manage these things?
Because you have the experience, you have the knowledge.
Absolutely. And now with a partner like Marquise and a company like Foundation 99, I can help them, especially people that have come into all of this money, try to steer them in the right direction. If they don't want to listen, go to their mama. That's the thing. That's the thing. If they're making a lot of money and you trying to give them game and they're not listening, go to their wife or their mama. If they don't have a woman, go to their mama. But the woman in their life, if you give them the game on how to stay paid, they're going to change everything in the house. Yeah. They're going to change everything in the house. Yeah. I'd be like, you know what? He'd be all right if he can't get a watch every 6 months. Like, he can't get, you know what I'm saying? Like, those little things, and your wife will slowly talk you out of, you know what I'm saying? She will reprioritize the home. She will reprioritize your vision about these things if you got the right woman.
That's true. It's very true.
Or the right man. I apologize. This is very male-centric, right? This is very male-centric. If you have the right man. Because women are very serious about business right now. They're they are very adamant about being successful in this world. And picking the wrong mate, male or female, can throw you off your path.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Don't be out here getting whipped. I just want to keep it centered in the real world.
If you had to say one thing to a young Bun B right now, what would you tell him?
Don't get that Sears credit card.
The Sears credit card.
No, don't get Sears.
Oh, Sears credit card. Oh,
I got a Sears credit card because they offered me one, and they told me I could use. Me and flat tires. I've had a long relationship with me and flat tires, and it started with Sears. And Sears gave me I went in there and bought. Like, why don't you just get a credit card? And I got it, and then I started buying other stuff from Sears, and I didn't understand. And then those letters started coming in the mail, and then I was like, "Wait, I spent $800 on tires. Why do I owe Sears $1,250?"
Exactly.
I'm not paying attention to these percentages, these rates, and all of these things.
24.99.
Yes. So don't get that Sears credit card, and how do I say this? Can I be completely honest?
Yeah.
Go right ahead. That's what we want.
Don't ever smoke. They don't start smoking weed.
You hear that?
Don't.
I'm gonna send that to some of the people I know in my life.
Don't start smoking weed because everything else I did, I quit. Like everything else, I used to get wet. I'm just being very honest and transparent.
Yep.
I was very irresponsible, like I said, and I changed a lot of things. But weed was the one habit I kept. And then literally probably about a year and a half ago, I looked at and I tried to make a rough estimate of how much weed I smoked, how much I spent on it, and how much money a year.
Your life?
And yes. Homes. I mean, the first couple of years it was like, cool because it was dirt weed. I'm in Houston, $50 dirt weed stems and seeds. I'm just trying to be honest with people. But then the chronic came and this $100 eighths and all this type of stuff started coming. Then I was sipping drink. That became much more expensive. So a lot of things I got priced out of because I was like, I don't want to spend my money. I quit cigarettes. I did all of these different things, right? But I kept weed. And I quit weed during COVID.
Oh.
I quit weed for like 8 months during COVID because I didn't want the weed man coming to my house because it was COVID, right? I didn't want to go out to people. I didn't want to do these hand-to-hand exchanges. And then I went to a very secluded studio out in El Paso, right on the border. And we were staying at, it's like the largest studio that has housing in the world. So it's on like a couple hundred acres of a pecan farm. And it's been there for a long time. And the guys I went with were smoking. They were like, you sure you don't want to smoke me? And I'm like, I don't know, why not? I ain't got nothing to lose. It's cold. I ain't going nowhere. I'm like, we're cool. We're here. If I'm going to get sick from you, I'm already sick. So let's do it. And I've been smoking ever since. That was like 2.5 years ago. But yeah, I think, you have to be, I will say this, man. I'm working very hard to be bigger than myself. I'm working very, very hard. And I'm almost there, right? If I hit big on this burger thing, man, I'll give up weed.
That's where it's looking like.
I'll swap it out.
So it seems like weed's gonna be out of your life.
I would love to be wine and cigars.
That's a great thing.
I would love, but I hate wine and I don't like tobacco. I don't do tobacco. So it's.
Have you been to a vineyard before?
No.
Go to a vineyard. It's going to change your life.
All these things you do in your life, you've never been to a vineyard?
No. My wife's been to Fredericksburg and all this stuff.
Napa Valley's right here.
Yeah.
The last wine I drank was Mad Dog, bro. Like,
I'm
a hard liquor guy. I'll be very honest. I'm a hard liquor guy. I used to drink beer and wine when I was in high school, and then like one day it turned off. Like I don't like the way it tastes. In the same way that one day I woke up and fell in love with mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah, like I woke up one day and mayonnaise has to be on any sandwich I eat. Like it has to be.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where it came from. Right. I don't know where it came from. But look, I'm happy, man. I'm blessed. I'm really glad you guys came down. Glad because
happy to be here.
Because it gives me an opportunity to give people game. Like that's why I love this. I'm glad Marcus called me about this.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And more people honestly need to know about the work we're doing.
No, they do.
For sure.
Do.
So we got 2 more questions. One from Marcus, and then Mike is gonna ask you our staple question of the podcast. So on Foundation 99, Marcus, what do you see like sort of 5 years from now? And what do you hope like the foundation sort of like what more collaboration partnerships that the foundation hopes they can get so that the message of community, financial empowerment, financial literacy can sort of get more expanded out there?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for people to understand is what Foundation 99 is and what we're not, right? And so the biggest thing about the money that we raise for the nonprofit goes to hiring certified coaches that are financial coaches that work with people that are part of the foundation. Right now, we go into, like Bun said earlier, we work a lot in the school district space and work a lot with employees of the school districts. We definitely want to work with more churches and more community feel where it's not just the people that are in the school district, but now we're working with the outside community as well. And so the biggest thing I would say right now, 5 years from now, is just trying to expand our brand. Obviously, here in Houston, Bun has been, amazing with that. Just anytime I ask him to step up and do anything, he's always quick response and always making himself available. And so I think that's the biggest thing with Foundation 99 or just anything is kind of nowadays we got to meet people where they're at. And so, if we were to do some sort of a teaching thing, people would come because they want to see people that look like us, that look like them, do the things that people are talking about, and acquiring wealth and buying land and doing all those types of things. So the sky is the limit for what Foundation 99 can be. And there's a lot of people out there that do podcasts or do speaking engagements, but the retention is what, the 10-15 minutes. They listen to it, they log off, and then what happens next, right? What do you do with the information you learn on a podcast that you watch for 30 minutes? The knowledge is one thing. The wisdom of understanding how to apply it to your own personal life is a completely different scenario. And so that's what the coaches are here for. It's to work with you from getting you from surviving to thriving. You're before we met you, you were living paycheck to paycheck, and now you're saving $20 a paycheck. We want to get people to the point where they can comfortably be able to do that. If the parents don't know, then there's probably a good chance the kids don't know, right? If they're of a certain age, bring them to the meeting so they can learn too, because the only way we're going to break that gap is if we figure out where that gap is and then meet you at the gap. And like I said before, now kids are more interested in those types of conversations. So it's much easier, but we just have to go and meet them where they're at and just ultimately just help them. Just like I said, empowerment is one thing. Helping them understand how to use the information that we're providing is a completely different scenario. And so, the goal is just to continue to hire more coaches. I think we're going to have a team full of coaches at Foundation 99 at some point. Myself as a financial advisor and other financial advisors that work alongside me, we donate our time for free. I'm a coach as well, but I don't get paid to coach. I go in and volunteer. I would do this for free if I can afford it, right? On a grand scheme, this is something I love to do. I love to give the people the information that they need. I love to see people go to a point where, hey, I didn't think about it this way. And so now let's do it this way. And now I'm in a much, much better financial situation than I once was. And so, so I think that just continuing to partner with people that, we obviously would always want to have people that want to come partner with us and get the name out there and get the brand out there. So that way we could just expand and just get as many people that want the information,
That's true.
Get it to them, right?
And where could people get in touch to find Foundation 99?
Yep. So foundation99.org is the website. You can learn all about, what we do, our board members on the website, the story about how Foundation 99 started. And, some of the testimonials are also going to be on the website as well of some of the people that we've helped. But you can also donate directly to the website. Once again, the money that we raise for Foundation 99 goes straight to just hiring coaches. So that way we can work with families ongoing, not just do a podcast, but every week we're meeting up, right? We're your accountability partner in this regard. Right. We're not just going to tell you how to do it. We're going to make sure next week you did what we told you to do. Right. And if you're not serious about the work, step out of line and let somebody else get in, because there's a lot of people that need it, and there's homework on both sides of the fence. We have to do the work. You have to do the work too. If you're willing to do it, we're willing to do it as well.
Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Let's close this out, Bun. We have a question. It's called, what was your last flight out? And when we say that, we mean, what was that turning point in your life where if you didn't make a certain decision or if you didn't go to a certain place, you wouldn't be here today or you wouldn't have the success that you have today?
It would have been going to that first tasting, right? As far as the level of success I have now, which has been elevated by building this company, it would definitely be going to that first tasting, being presented with a burger that had elements that I was vehemently opposed to, right? Like it had caramelized onions. Only thing I hate worse than raw onions are caramelized onions.
You don't like caramelized onions?
I don't like onions, bro.
Oh.
I don't like onions. And then it has pickles on it.
Oh, I don't like.
Which is that's a non sequitur right there. Like we can't even really get started with that. But I realized if I'm gonna sell this burger, I got to eat this burger. Because I got to sell it with a smile. I'm going to have to eat this burger with people to sell this burger. So I ate it. One, I realized, well, pickle isn't that bad. It added a little crunch to the burger. Like, I eat French onion soup, right? I eat the cheese. I eat the broth. I don't eat the onions, right? But I like French onion soup.
Yeah.
I realized as I ate the burger why onions are important to dining. I understood what the caramelized onion brought to the burger.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That was a big step for me. And I was like, yeah, no, I believe in this burger. And I remember going home and telling my wife, yo, I got the best burger in the world. I'm finna be a part of this company. What's in it? Onions and pickles. Ain't no way. Ain't no way you ate no burger with onions and pickles on. She said, what else is on? That's it. Just meat, cheese, onions. So you ain't got no tomatoes, no lettuce, but this the best burger in the world. And I was like, yeah. She was like, we're going to see. And ever since she had one, I mean, I don't know anybody that's eating more Trill burgers than my wife. like for her, if it's if she wants something for lunch, she'll think about other things, other options. And if she can't get good sushi at that time,
Going
I'm
Trill
gonna go to Trill burger. Let's just go to Trill burger. Or I'll be like, what you want to do? What you want to eat for lunch today? I don't know. Let's go here. I'll be all right. Well, I got to stop by the store. Oh, if you're going to the store, I might as well just get a burger.
Exactly. She might as well just go.
It's the cheapest meal on the planet for her because we're buying it. We're getting it at cost, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm proud of it, man. I'm proud of what I'm able to accomplish, and I'm proud that I'm in a position where I can educate people.
Right.
As far as my partnership with Foundation 99 is about educating people, helping them elevate their status and amplifying their voices. So it's educate, elevate, amplify. That's what I look for when I build a connection with the community or I'm trying to help people.
Right. And Bun, on behalf of Mike and myself, just want to say thank you so much. You dropped so many gems today. Why you don't tell our audience where they can find you, a Trill burger near you, like anything that you want to tell people?
Typically, you can find me at Trill Burgers. That's my day job now for the most part. My real job's on the weekend, but you can find me on social media. I'm at Bun B on Instagram, Bun B of UGK on Twitter. I'm not on Snapchat. I'm not on TikTok. I'm an old head. I'm on Facebook, Bun B of UGK on Facebook. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you can go in my bio. I have contact information for management on my bio. And if you're looking for a job, we are hiring. We are definitely looking for upper management right now. So if you're in the Houston area and you have experience in the restaurant industry, and especially from an upper management standpoint, we want you.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
And you can find us at Last Fight Out Podcast. Hit that like button, hit that share button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jay. You can find me at JLubrio26 across all of my socials. You can follow Mike at
If Mike was here.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you next time. Same place, same. Thank you so much.
That's a great social day.
That's
a great social day.
Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that.
It was film day.
Yeah.
We gotta make a statement.
Exactly. We gotta make a statement.
What's going on, man?
Flat out.